Oh, hey there. Are you familiar with one of my best friends in the world, Marja Wes, one of the best? This magical, majestic, marvelous human being, a magical magician that I want to learn more about because we're featuring her in the SoundPath to Freedom Music Festival, and I'm gonna discover some things that I haven't heard before, and also you will as well, including a music video that her and I are collaborating on currently. Hopefully get that out on time and all this, but this isn't the
Um,
first time we've done this. We did the Lover's Touch collaboration, which was just
mhm.
so sacred and wonderful and beautiful. And yeah, Maria, you pour your heart and soul into so much that you do in life in general, not just music, but your
Mm,
deprogramming trauma, helping out so many people, your podcast, Love, Truth, and Beauty, and what you had before, and everything, and just a world traveler, a hellified human being. Just yeah, how you doing over there? Wonderful.
it's been tender. It's been tender. I've had a whole bunch of friends of all ages from all over the world decide to translate out of this reality. So I'm actually just coming back from a funeral, a memorial of my friend Chaz Needleman, who unfortunately took his life a couple of weeks ago. And, it's like this life that we undertake. And even from the sort of awakened center screen management of reality, you're not going to be exempt or immune from loss, heartbreak, tragedy, death, suicide, illness, betrayal, bullshit, and of course there's happiness. There is the life that we live, whether we choose the way we live or not. So I'm feeling actually very raw, and my face is super shiny. I got soaked in the thunderstorm, but it's brought the over 3-digit heat of New Mexico. And so it's dropped down 30 degrees in like the last hour from all of the thunderstorms. So it's good. So if I'm a little shiny and I look a little disheveled and wet, that's why. But I'm having some rosé with ice in celebration with uh, my friends, past, present, and also future, and of course with you, my good friend, and to SoundPath, um, and Jerry, and all of her good work. So I'm my pleasure to be here. And yes, I am rallying, and it needs to happen.
Yeah, Maria, you got a strong heart and will force and everything, and I totally appreciate you and this and that. And I forgot to mention that you are one of my, you know, sacred mentors in this life. And yeah, I take serious heed to so much of what you have to say and offer to this world, and through a couple hundred videos that you have that are still on YouTube. Not talking about things that have been deleted or hijacked and whatever the hell. All that aside, like you've been through the ringer a couple times and everything, and lived
Indeed.
you've lived several lives, including a couple of musical ones. And yeah, I want to learn about how you got into it, and like what was like the first thing you got into, because you are a player of multiple instruments, percussion, piano.
Indeed. Violin,
Mm,
the guitar, the bass, really just kind of all of it. I would call myself a jack of all trades in music, but in terms of the piano, I would have to say that I've definitely mastered it in a way, and mastered vocals in a way. I don't consider myself a singer per se. I'm more of a vocalist. I've got a really tremendous range, 4.5, and back in the day, five and a half octave range, where I would just make noises. And I think a lot of that comes from my my Nordic, Chinese, Mongolian, Russian background of all of that still in my DNA. A lot of kind of just a lot of screaming and hollering, a good way to put it. But I think the way it started for me, really, and by the way, I am learning quite a lot from you because you have a certain flow that I just marvel at because you're organized in a winging it kind of way that just kind of like blows me away. Like my autistic self would flip the fuck out with what you undertake. So I just want to acknowledge that because it's only fair. It's only fair to acknowledge you. And your birthday is coming up, by the way, the
Oh,
21st, y'all, of
merci beaucoup.
of, of August. So okay. So um my shit childhood of violence and abuse and name calling and hitting and all that kind of stuff, it really was the backdrop for my escape into music. I had a piano, and it was the family piano, and I took to it. It was my way of escaping the war zone. That was my daily life. And my mother was a very professional, successful woman, who was gone a lot at work. And so I would spend a lot of time at the piano, even before I received any formal training. And just, I would be able to hear stuff on, say, the radio or whatever piece of music, and I would be able to replicate it. So my first recital was actually when I was 4. And I did a very bizarre version, very strange version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star that was not quite Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but Twinkle Twinkle Little Star with a very dark, sort of demonic to it. Um, and anyways, I thought it was wonderful, but it was a bit disturbing, and beautiful all at the same time. I think I scared a lot of people, but that was my first public performance, and it was on a grand piano in a local auditorium. And anyways, that's how it all started. And my mother's way of giving me sort of credence was to have me come out and entertain all the guests that would come to the house. And my mom was a fabulous cook and a very amazing entertainer. And so the juxtaposition of taking a beat down and then having to put on the prettiest frock and come out and sort of entertain the troops, quote unquote, was a regular occurrence. So I learned how to split reality from, the very, very sad, tearful, bruised up, beaten up Maria to the little girl Maria who's going to put on the pretty dress and get on the piano or do a dance and entertain. So it was a way of escaping on the one hand, but also a way of, for lack of a better way to put it, a way to comply with the tyrant that was my mother. So there's a lot of bittersweet twinges to it. And so that's how it started.
Wow. Yeah. Wonder how it's gonna finish. No, just kidding.
Well, yeah, yeah. So I have had a very adversarial relationship with music. So every time I had the opportunity to up level. There was a gatekeeper. Um,
Oh hell.
and I was a sort of protege, not on the piano, but on the violin. And I had an opportunity to tour with an orchestra. I had an instructor who was part of the Oakland Symphony, and there was something wrong with him. I'm not going to mention names, but he sexually assaulted me, and I just refused. I was not going to go on tour, and I basically just stopped. I stopped any pursuit of anything competitive, anything having to do with any um, formal relationship with an orchestra, a symphony, anything like that that he was involved in. I wanted nothing to do with that. And to my dismay, my mother did not back me up because it was an opportunity for her. Because anything I did, when you're dealing with a narcissist, sociopath, psychopath, and NSP, everything that you do reflects badly or goodly on them. So there was a lot of that. But that being said, I had a love for the violin. I had a love for all kinds of music, had a love for dance and performing. So there were bits and pieces of it that I felt were natural for me. So I naturally gravitated toward those and just started doing my own thing. So, it involved a lot of doing musicals, a lot of ensembles in like junior high and also high school, and also in the local community. So, one of the things that I love doing, and I did this up until I was 13, 14, 15 years old, is I used to busk on the corner of Durant and Telegraph in Berkeley, California, or California. So this is in the 70s. And I had my violin. I had this little tiny guitar amp that a neighbor gave me with a guitar pickup that I put on my violin. And I would plug in to this local merchant's electrical and just be standing there on the street doing my thing with my I'm telling you, it was a sight to behold. I can't believe I was actually leaving the house looking like that, because in hindsight I think, girl, what were you doing? But I mean, we're talking cut off booty shorts, a white tube top, um and hair that was basically down way past my waist, practically to my knees. And so I can just imagine the sight to behold that I was during that time. But I would practice Vivaldi, I would practice the Bach double. And so the Bach double, it was the second violin part. And I ended up with, I can't remember the girl's name. She was Chinese American, and we were featured in I believe it was an ABC special. It was a local Bay Area special of all these local musicians that had reached a certain level, and we performed the Bach double. Elaine, I think her name was Elaine. But anyways, that being said, it was super fun because it was a way to derive the pleasure from music on my own terms, if that makes sense, rather than being told what to do and how to do it and like when to do it. So, but I'm not a music snob, you know. I played it all. I was into rock, all the classical rock stuff. I was into country. I was into doing all the orchestral, the string orchestra stuff. I was mad about Bach and Mozart and Chopin. I cheated trying to play Tchaikovsky and Rachmaninoff because my hands are actually very small, but I can do more than an octave, two, three reach. So I just learned how to make use of my physical limitations and be able to go up and down the fretboard, and of course it's got consequences because uh, this thumb, that is about as much as I can bend it compared to this. And it's a lot of the overuse of playing the violin, playing the bass, playing the guitar, and cheating on those chords, and just kind of like mangling up my hands, my fingers, in order to get really weird sounds to kind of um, uh, be able to play even though I physically was limited.
Jeez, yeah. And I remember you showing me that, at your house for sure. And
Mhm.
for folks listening, I spent some good quality time with her back in 2022 and 23 for a couple months. And yeah, it was just really great getting to know you better and being at your magical house and just, hundreds of plants and, dozens of musical instruments, around there. You got like two, three pianos, keyboard action going on. And I'd love to see just, I could just be sitting out, having lunch or whatever, sitting out on the table or whatever. And you're just waltzing around and like not a word and just like sit at the piano and like.
It's a balancing act,
Mm,
and for me to be able to play something beautiful on the piano or on the guitar, or whatever, even with my drums. And of course, since I've been in New Mexico, a lot of my hand drums are all fucked up because of the quite often single digits humidity wise. So a lot of the skins have, like, yeah, and even with the humidifiers, some of my drums, my beautiful drums, have split open. So it's kind of, so it's a little painful. But going back to music, because I had such a disdain for being told what to do, and because there were always gatekeepers kind of dangling. Let's see, how far are you going to go? There was a point where, and I was very, very young. I was about 19 or 20 when I decided there is no way, there's no way that I am going to compromise my integrity. And of course, right around that time, a little before that time, the whole punk rock scene in San Francisco was happening. So I was totally into it. So being able to perform at the famous Mabuhay Gardens, uh, the Fab Mab, as it were, with all the punk scenes and all of the new age stuff, was hysterically fun. And I really relished it because I was kind of like, just like I'm a plant hoe, I'd have to say I'm kind of a music hoe. I just wanted to play. I didn't care. So I played in jazz ensembles. I can read really, really well. So I would sit in either with the piano or the keyboards or the violin, and add things, play bass. I mean, it was fantastic. And of course, top 40, I worked for a corporate company and we did a lot of really high end top 40 stuff. And then there was piano bar. I played a lot of piano bar. I played the piano at the Nordstrom's men's store for a long time, making $10 an hour. Holy moly. But it's funny because you do that And I actually had quite a number of people on Instagram, maybe in 2017, 2018, maybe 26, probably 2018, um, where quite a number of people who were younger at the time, little girls, coming to go meet their mom after school who worked at the men's store, at the men's department, remembering me at the piano. I even have a client who remembers me at the piano. And I'm not shy. I would have actually the Giants game playing on my Walkman while I was doing, and the big sign, I take no requests. And that's part of my whole rebellion up against being told what to do. I don't want to hear requests. No, I'm not going to play that fucking song for you. Not going to do it. So I've always had a little bit of a kind of a curmudgeon attitude toward requests. Not doing it. Freebird, no, not doing it.
Yeah.
Not gonna do it. But such is the thing. Um, so there's been a lot going on. And of course, during the 80s, I had kids, but I needed an outlet to be able to keep myself in check because I was so overwhelmed by my own trauma and wanting to be a good mom, wanting to be a creative person, and also to show up because I needed to make money. And I always had it in my head that if I played a lot of gigs and I had my usual job, selling insurance, kids. Oh yes, it was going on. And being all that I could be, and being a yuppie in San Francisco, I had all these things going on. So my life was like, woo! It was really, really chaotic. There was a lot of creativity, a lot of crazy stuff. Quite often, after work, after feeding the kids, I would have a piano gig for like maybe a set or two. And then I had another gig where I would play guitar, and then another gig where I would be sitting in for an opening band at, say, either the Civic Center or the Fox Theater in Oakland. So I have played all of those things. So back in the day, there was the I Beam, the DNA Lounge, the Kennel Club, which used to be the Viz. We had the Fillmore. The Fillmore, I lived 3 blocks away from the Fillmore and what was once upon a time Winterland. And then there was Kimball's, which was the jazz club. So I did all this different shit because I could fake it. I just needed to hear it once or twice, and I could play it. I could play it in any key. So I've been lucky that way. You talk about winging it. And eventually I just started getting more and more gigs to sit in here, sit in there. And it was just fun. It was just fun. Running around with your head cut off, literally.
And there's plenty of places to run to around the Bay Area. Like, holy
Totally.
smokes. Like,
Totally. So much fabulous music. And then you have the greats. You got Santana, you got Jefferson Airplane. Then there was the grunge. You had Green Day and Counting Crows, which I just Chris and I just went to go see them a couple of weeks ago, and it was so funny because that whole scene back in like the early '90s was just such an amazing like bing going on, because at the time I was divorcing husband number 2. I had just finished doing a project with a band called Shark Bait, and uh, we had done an album together called Blowtorch Facelift. Amazing. And the song that made it on the radio, where we got a lot of exposure, was the song where I did the vocals on. It was called Arabia Deserta. And we got the attention of Bill Graham, who hired the band to be the headlining sideshow for the first Lollapalooza, um, which was like really, really cool. However, I was not a part of that because my friend who got me in it, his name is John Weiss, amazing drummer. His brother Andrew was the bass player for Black Flag, and Henry Rollins. So I'm dropping names here because these are like my dudes. Um, it was just an amazing time of all this creativity. And what was great about Sharkbait is that it was very, very, I would call it industrial metal, because that's what it was. We had the taiko drummers come in to do a lot of percussion. When we had gigs, everybody had to sign a release that if you got shrapnel, you weren't going to sue us. You weren't going to sue the club. It was just so fun. It's kind of like the band Guar and their fluid ejections where they're spitting up shit all over everybody. We would invite people to come take a pair of sticks and just start hitting whatever. And we would have these jams that would just last forever and ever and ever. It was such an amazingly good time. And I think it was like, for me, it was coming on the heels of being part of hospice and me doing that whole death doula of hand holding all these people whose families, whose friends had turned their backs on them during the whole AIDS time. It was good to be able to like blow off steam and to just fucking go off. And then at the same time, it was right around the time when my stepkids decided that they wanted to go live with the grandparents who were retiring. So they were of that age where it was time. It was time. So all of a sudden, I'm like getting divorced and the empty nest kind of thing. And it just created this, whoa, this gap in my life. And mind you, I was already doing my trauma deactivation work in the middle of all that as well. So there were all these little chaotic things. So I got these sort of runs of different music and the eras that coincide with all of that. So Sharkbait really served as an outlet to like really blow off a lot of steam, a lot of rage, and uh, and I was really really thrilled to be part of that because a lot of the songs that we did were all about anarchy, all about no slaves, no rulers, no rules, no man-made laws, and what the fuck are we doing? And it was a start. So I've been writing these types of songs of like really questioning the abuse of the planet, questioning what do we, why are we here, who are we, who am I? um Writing songs about my kundalini awakening. um you know so it's always been sort of this outlet to just put the focus on something that was either bothering me or something that I noticed people were willfully ignoring. Um, and being from or growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area as an immigrant and really just seeing the sort of hypocrisy of it. I mean, these were not self-aware people. These were people that were addicted to the shitstorm. And a lot of my friends just wanted to conform. A lot of my music friends conformed. A lot of people were like telling me, because there were quite a number of gatekeepers where I really wanted to get signed as a singer-songwriter. And I had friends that suggested, look, it's just a blow job. It'll be over in like 5 minutes. Just do it. And I'm thinking, I'm not quite sure that's going to be a fair exchange. But I knew a lot of people that were compromising themselves for the chance to, I don't know. I mean, a chance to do what, really? I just wasn't that way.
Yeah.
And perhaps maybe I just didn't want it bad enough. I mean, yeah, you could say that.
Well, I guess
Um,
there's the Boku Bucks involved in getting shown
indeed,
the fame and glory, whatever the hell
indeed.
that whole
But
story.
here was the thing. I used to do a lot of piano bars at like hotels. So
Oh, cool.
I was undergoing a training in with the Priscilla Capel, who's one of my mentors, for the Bioenergy Balancing Center in Palo Alto. And this was back in once again, the early 90s. And I was doing a piano bar gig. So I would take the class and then I'd have to leave like half an hour before class ended, get in my car, boogie to one of the airport hotels so I could do piano bar. And there were a bunch of military people there. And I was just on fire that night. And here's this dude, an officer type, and asked me if I knew anything about the USO and the DoD program for music to entertain the troops. And before I knew it, I started doing that. So I have hit all of the military bases all over the world as a hired hand to either play keyboards, guitar, bass, percussion, whatever, and entertain the troops. A lot of it was top 40, but every now and again, I would get hired by an ensemble, a soloist who recognized something in me, and I would get to do two or three short set of my own songs. And so Batsman actually really, uh, I just couldn't even believe that was going on. And I had to check myself because at the time I was very not down on the military, but more sort of like, okay, what does this mean exactly for me? Am I out of integrity for my principles? Because I didn't believe in being an order follower or an order taker. And this is way before Mark Passio, kids. Okay, you know, I mean, everybody talks as if he invented critical thinking. He did not. Uh, so I was questioning this and thinking to myself, well, um, I guess I could blow this chance to check it out and see what this is about. And I'm glad that I jumped on the opportunity because it was so fascinating to me that here were these military bases and there's all this crap going on. So, there was the Bosnian War that was happening. There was all kinds of things going on in the Middle East, like it hasn't been going on for a very, very long time. And I had to check myself. I had to um, it was all really for the love of music. I wasn't there to make a political statement. I voted for Ross Perot. Okay. That was the only time I did that shit, and it's like, what happened there? So I feel like I had to come to peace with all of my judgments about the military. And I come from a military family. So both sides of my family have been part of the military in all branches. And both sides of my family have been survivors of imperialism. of communism, of socialism, of bullshit. So I think it was a way for me to move into that place of really from that love of music, which I feel like is the universal language to for humans. And I've been caught in situations where you travel to a non-English speaking country and you need help. Are people going to help you, or are they going to notice you're not one of them? And my experience has been that people want to help. And when you have music going on, it is a universal language. It brings us together. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. And there's so many beneficial effects. And I was thinking about, what you've transmuted through music and how you've used it as any kind of outlet to, get away from fucked up childhood, whatever we can label it as. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's like, and I've said this before, and with the music mixes that I make, it's very therapeutic and stuff, and especially when you have that creative control, which is what you've had to kind of like battle for and like
Hmm.
reclaim that.
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah, these
Yeah.
fucking gatekeepers and whatever the hell, and like it's sad to see like in the Bay Area, it's like when you're just a fan of music, you think it's all like happy go lucky, like yeah, I see all this, there's so many scenes going. There was so much shit going on in the Bay Area. Like I was
Yeah.
talking with
Yeah.
Azim about this, hip hop artists over there, and it's just like there's so much shit going on. It's like
Yeah.
healthy competition for the most part
Yeah.
amongst
Oh,
artists.
it's fantastic. It's fantastic. And a lot of my gigs, I would have a gig doing a quartet, a string quartet on a Sunday afternoon, and then later be playing Jean-Luc Ponty on the piano, jazz. So it's fantastic. And then the next day, just letting it all out. And yeah, it's so much fun. And I feel very blessed that I didn't become a music snob. All these people that just only like metal and metal is the best. It's like, get the fuck away from me. Get away from me. Shut up. People that don't like country with, you know what? I don't like show tunes. I don't like show tunes. And certain operas, I'm sorry, it's a snooze fest to me. But I'm not going to put people down who are into it. You know what I mean? And I love country western. In fact, some of the hardest gigs I ever played was in a country western band. I mean, you can't be stoned and play that shit. You can't. It's too fucking fast. You got to have your senses have to be sharp, man. You
Damn.
got to be in the pocket. So, and guess what? I am not a fan of the Grateful Dead. You talk about a snooze fest? Holy moly. I used to drive my friends to their shows at the Civic Theater, and I would tell them, I'm coming here like at 1 a.m. You got 15 minutes to meet me. I'm driving home. I'm not going to wait for you. And they would just be too fucking out of it to get a ride home. So I don't know what happened, but that's what I'm talking about. So,
Before
I mean,
cell phones and shit, of course,
no, this was
Yeah, like,
way before cell phones. But this is what I'm saying. It's like to each their own. And I have the stuff that I'm not terribly fond of, but I respect musicians that know their craft. I respect musicians that respect the creative spark that it not only needs to be cultivated, but it needs to be respected and um, practiced.
Yeah, not just imitated, people riding on coattails, clout chasing, as people like
Yeah.
to call it these days, and all this stuff's like, wow, like where's the originality or whatever? Like,
Hmm.
where's the
Yeah.
music from the soul? Are you just, riding off of someone else's stuff and
Yeah.
all this stuff?
Yeah.
And that's different from what you were talking about. I don't want to get people confused on, like you're able to like hear something and just pick it up and like, hey, here we go, because you were in groups that were playing cover songs and all that.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's what you meant by like the top 40 shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And I have tremendous respect for top 40. Is it my cup of
yeah.
tea? No, it's not. It's not my cup of tea. But for a long time, it was my bread and butter. And especially, you get a corporate top 40 gig, and God, they pay you a lot of coin for that. It's better than a lot of the singer-songwriter stuff that I used to do, and I would pay my band a lot of the times. I'd come back with $5 from 3 sets of a gig because I paid my musicians. And that's what it was. And luckily I had a really great gig to where I could do that. I could float it and not pay myself. Because I respect people's time. I respect their time. I respect um, their efforts in getting to a gig, showing up. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you were not respected with some of the payments, towards yourself and
Yes, I mean that's very true. And then also as a singer songwriter, I would sell songs, things that I did. I had demos of all these songs, and I would sell them off in bundles. So I sold a whole bunch of stuff to Warner Brothers. I actually still get paid for some of the things I've done for them. And it's funny, the 30-year thing just came up, and it all got renewed. So yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun when you think about it. And I'm old enough to be able to reap the benefits, because I remember, oh, we have a 30-year contract, and you get a few things here and there. And if you have songs that show up on like different series, or little noise things or whatever it was, because I collaborated with a lot of people. I remember thinking 30 years, wow, I'll be dead. But no, it just got renewed again. Holy moly. This is the beauty of like DVD, of streaming shows from the 90s that are like streaming on, say, Netflix or on Amazon Prime. I mean, who knew? Who knew any of that stuff was just going to be? And it's like, whatever. It's great.
wow, yeah. So
Yeah. But, as far as the whole rock star kind of thing, it just I never really thought about it. I didn't think about it. I'm more a, a player's player kind of thing, because I like it so much. I just don't like the bullshit. So, there was a lot of me where if I had drama, I'm just like, goodbye. I'm not going to give you 5 seconds of my time.
damn, yeah. And it just seems like you were really trying to set boundaries to, you know, hold your creative control sacred amidst,
Indeed.
funky, fluky collaborations and things that were, in cooperation with the underwhelming sensation of
Yeah,
what
yeah,
the hell.
yeah, yeah. And then, of course, back in, I think it was like maybe 2004, um, I I met this guy, Bear Dushutko, bless his heart, may he rest in peace. But he passed away in 2011, and he was my manager. And he was 15 years younger than me. Okay. So born in 74, 15 years younger. I mean, actually, Chaz was born in 74. In fact, Chaz's birthday, 51 today, and his memorial is today as well, was today. But okay, I digress. So going back to Baird, Baird came up to me. I think it might have been at the Whiskey A Go Go in La La Land. Um, and he came up to me, and I thought he was trying to pick me up. I'm like thinking, oh yeah, right, blah, da, 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 da. And anyways, he was actually very, very businesslike, and he said, "Dude, this is how we need to push you. It needs to just be you with a guitar, and you do solo. And if they have a piano, then you get on the piano, but you don't lug your shit around." And I'm like, whoa, okay. And he says, and we get you in these places where you can be solo and you're not just background noise. Now, there are a few mishaps here and there, that's for sure. Because I ended up getting booked at a biker bar. And so here's my sound check, and they have this honky tonk piano, and I'm like going, ooh, this is going to be cool, because I love honky tonk pianos, and the way especially the set that I was going to play was going to be perfect. And there was a guy there that was drinking beer, biker dude, and he yells, "I don't want to hear any of this fucking vagina music." And I just burst out laughing. I burst out laughing, and I'm thinking, oh, geez, this is just going to be a long, long ass night. And he ended up actually being one of my greatest benefactors. And the reason why is because I opened with a guitar rendition of Joni Mitchell's Help Me. Help me, I think I'm falling in love again. And it's his favorite song ever. Like, who knew? The guy was just he was so gracious afterwards. And this is after he throws beer at me, and doesn't want to hear vagina music. So, yeah, and you win some, you lose some. I mean, people are going to like you, or they're going to absolutely fucking hate you. And I've had people just hate on me. And it's neither here nor there, but you kind of have to grow a thick skin. Um, and so that was a great tour that he set up for me. I hit all these like little theaters in San Francisco. The place at the time, Cafe du Nord, was one of the great places to perform on Market Street, and they have a piano. I mean, it was just genius that he figured this out. Don't be in a bar. Don't do it. Be in a little theater. He also set up like house concerts where I'm in somebody's living room and they're right there. I mean, I move a lot when I perform. So I'm like going, shit, I'm going to step on this person. What am I going to do? And it was one of the most, I made so much money. I just about made six figures on that little tour, and it was just me. So, yeah, no, it was really, really quite cool. And to be able to do that much later in my life, I was over 40 at that point. And yeah, yeah. So the guy figured it out. He totally figured it out. It's like, no, this is what you got to do. You can't play at those places. You can't play to a bunch of drunk people, you know. And that biker bar, that was a fluke because I completely disarmed my greatest critic with that Joni Mitchell song. And so yeah, it just worked.
Wow, yeah, that's a powerful story. I love that.
Vagina music. I mean, who knew? Fucking vagina music. That vagina music is going to get you every single time. I just nearly died
Oh shit.
laughing. I'm just like, oh, dude, like what?
Yeah, shit. So I know you spoke with our good friend Crip Rick out there. Much love, brother man.
Love Crip Rick. Hi, Rick.
Yeah, you spoke with him. You had a segment or two with him about music.
Mhm. Yeah.
What could you share that you didn't really get around to on his channel?
Well, we really talked more about just I think the importance of that creativity, that
Hmm.
being able to tap into that on a regular basis, even when you're not inspired, because that's the whole thing. People talk about writer's block. People talk about, and you're going to have as a performer. I mean, there were performances where I was like, oh gods, oh shit, man. Wow, 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 wow. I felt like I totally sucked and I really blew it. Um, and then you'll get and then people will like come up to you and go, "Oh, it was fucking great," and you're just like, "What? Like what?
Do you
What do
get that
you?"
way just because you've like done it repetitively, almost like on a daily basis and stuff, and like you have a
Yes,
certain standard in that
yeah. I
people
have
don't see or
I have
hear,
a
right?
certain standard. I like to be well rehearsed.
Mm.
So that was always me. And it was one of the reasons why I couldn't keep a band together to save my fucking life, which is why I hired session players because number one, they're pro. You pay them, they fucking show up. They don't give you any drama. And the men were much better than the women. The women had one excuse after another. My period is here. It's like, okay, or they've got boyfriend, husband, girlfriend dramas out in the fucking parking lot, and knives are being taken out. It's just stupid. And so for me, I like to be well rehearsed. I practice a lot. I do warm up stuff. I've got my gear dialed in. I have my own lighting. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to have that shit dialed in. Otherwise, you just leave everything to chance. And I'm all for that. I'm all for that. But the winging it, you can only get away with it so much. And because I was a hired person, I got to experience a lot of people, a lot of professional musicians who have their fucking shit together. So, no drugs, no alcohol, no drama. You show up for the sound check. You don't show up for the sound check, you're fired. End of story. So, and then when you get hired for a tour, there's a whole up leveling thing about having your shit together. That is, no, don't party. So I don't know about these people who are like stoned and drunk and dropping acid and doing a gig. It's fuck off. Like I just don't get it. I don't get it. I could not do it. I couldn't do it. I
It's
mean,
like,
that's just like bedtime for me.
it's like they're going for the Jimi Hendrix experience, on a low budget type of scenario venue. Like,
Yeah, well, Jimi Hendrix, a lot of people aren't. There's only one of him, and he's been gone for a long time.
yeah. I mean, how many
So,
companies are gonna be stringing a guitar upside down for a left-handed genius or whatever, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And now there are certain gigs that I would rather not have, just in
For
terms
sure.
of the sort of for me the boredom that would set in, and that would like I love reggae music. But holy moly, there's not a whole lot going on unless you're the lead guitar player. And I'm not a lead guitarist. I'm a rhythm guitarist. So that I would just put me to sleep. Um, so that wouldn't be a good match for me. But I like a lot of dynamic, raw emotion, heartfelt stuff. Um, yeah, you just learn. You learn what works and you learn what doesn't work.
Yeah, definitely. So, where and how can people check out any of your heartfelt stuff currently?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of it is not available. This year marks 10 years since my website was destroyed, was hacked and destroyed, and my original YouTube channel was deplatformed. And unfortunately, on the website, my music website went down on it too. So you talk about being targeted by techie experts that want to take your shit out of commission. Um, and that's the whole thing is I think part of the lessons that I'm learning is to be detached, to let go of the stuff that I've done, let go of any kind of attachment to any kind of past, any kind of relationship, especially with all the recent deaths, turbo cancers, suicides, the tragic deaths by car accident, all kinds of that stuff. I'm just being asked to just let go of the attachment. Some of the stuff that I sent you, I'm like going, holy shit, from my one woman busking show, where I had a keyboard set up, my little 4 track, my 4 track recorder, it play and then play and sing to that shit. And I would do a dozen to 20 songs doing that shit. And yeah, it was so fun. But the quality though, this is way before all the digital shit. So the hiss in the background and all that kind of stuff, it's like, oh, whatever. It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know. There's a nostalgia to that to a
Yes.
degree.
Yeah, there is because I mean, I come from the era. I'm grandma. So I come from the era of the 4 track and the cassette, and then you have the 8 track, then the cassette, then you got the 4 track from the 80s, and then there were the DAT tapes, in the 90s. And my DAT player has gone kaput. So if anybody knows where I can find a DAT player that actually works, or find somebody that actually knows what the fuck it is, that'd be good. Most people don't know what that is. So funny. Oh Lord. So
Wow, yeah.
like the stuff that the song we're going to collaborate on, you know, that song is, I consider it evergreen because when I wrote it
Hmm.
with Orpheus Desjardins, um, who was my Warner Brothers partner, it, we did it about whistleblowing because that was around the time of 9/11, and there were all kinds of speculations about what the fuck was going on. And just started hearing about all these people that have been disappearing that started telling the truth, and all of a sudden they're like gone. So the consequences of coming out and speaking truth, and then also the consequences, the soul consequences of what happens to you if you don't do the right thing and speak up. It goes both ways.
That double-edged sword, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so I don't know where he is. I don't know where Orpheus is. I've lost contact with him. Um, so, just this, it's actually a rough mix of what we did. And it still has the impact. And I recently came upon it with some bootleg website that was playing it. I'm like going, whoa, okay, that's really, really weird. But this is what happens. It's like, you may own the copyrights, but people get to play it. And certainly in my old YouTube channel, I would play I get a copyright strike on my own music. So it's like, whatever. What do you do with that?
Yeah, and it reminds me of our chat with Tom Althouse. And that was
Yes,
quite a heavy conversation and stuff. And it's like, what limits, or at what extent do we have creative control, and who is actually hijacking our own creativity and that kind of stuff.
indeed,
It's like,
indeed,
and who's
indeed.
profiting from it and whatever the
Yeah,
hell. Like,
yeah.
wow,
Which
like,
is why, you let it go.
mm,
Which is why you let it go. And actually, there was a recent thing with Christopher. Christopher, the Scotsman, who
okay.
he's got his regular shows, and I have a whole repertoire of all the things that I play on the piano. I mean, there's literally a few hundred songs that I will like
Only.
cycle through, and some of them are covers, some of them are mine, and there's one that is mine. And he's watching this British TV show, and he goes, "Where do I know that song from?" And it's actually one of mine that I sold in a bundle. And when you sell your songs, they can do whatever they want to it. It's not mine anymore. It belongs to whoever bought it. And when you sell it, you give up the copyrights. I mean, how many of these rock stars, pop stars that we know that have given up so much? Prince, Billy Joel, I mean, all these people who got fucked over by this, that, and the other record company and didn't make shit on their biggest hits. So for me, it was more like, remember when, because I was part of a songwriting conglomerate, and I decided, it's like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if my name's on it or not. It doesn't matter. Uh, but it's an interesting thing, this is I own the copyrights. Yeah, okay. But you know what? Somewhere in some corner of the world, somebody is making bank or not. It doesn't matter, and you just kind of have to let go. And that's what I've learned over the years is like, we here temporarily, you only live once. I'm only living once in this body. I don't plan to come back, you know. Um, and of course, there are extreme cases like with Tom Althouse. I mean, that whole fuckery of the Matrix and the inversion of the blue pill versus the red pill. I mean, I caught on to that right from get go. I'm like, what the fuck is this red pill shit? Bullshit. You know? And he definitely, that is just so egregious.
Mm.
It's evil. It's evil because it is an inversion, and this is a case where I mean, I certainly have my own level of suffering, but not like that. I have definitely been taken out, had my shit burned to the ground, and have been gutted more than several times, but not like he has. So, that having been said, it's like, you just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and carry on. And that's what I'm doing. I'm carrying on. And so here it is. You know, I'm carrying on and looking forward to 70. Oh my
Give it a
God.
good 5 years at least, but yeah.
4. Okay, 4.
What?
Not 5 years.
Oh
4
yeah,
years.
yeah. Your birthday's coming up for 76 in the mix in a couple months now. Holy smokes! Right?
Well, 66. Yeah.
Did I say 70? Yes, right. So, did I say 70?
Oh my God. But this is the thing is that you can't be attached. You can't be attached because the universe is just gonna sit there and bitch slap you, and that's it. And you just have to carry on. And I'm making fun of it, but I gotta tell you, 3 hours ago, I was hysterical. I was weeping.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, I want to have another chat with you in the future just about laughter and stuff. And it's like, you can tell who's gone through a lot of stiff stuff in their lives and like overcome like all types of tragedies, or even working in like intense jobs and this and that. And like, you
Hmm.
see them like
Yeah,
in a stressful situation and they're able to fucking laugh it off, and that kind of stuff, just because
yeah,
like they fucking been there and done that and gotten over it, or whatever, right? And it's just, it's not fun, but yet like, is it better to bitch and moan about it and like be all stressful and lose
yeah,
our fucking hair and let it turn gray or whatever about it,
yeah.
or can we
It's,
just
well, look, I mean, uh, there were some times where my hair started falling out, or
fuck?
you just, yeah, that's what stress will do to you. And which is, I will consider music. I consider music and the act of songwriting as an outlet to do some of that shadow work and to
Mm,
just
yeah.
let it out.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier, with just, yeah, like listening to some of your songs, and it could just be your voice, like, like all those octaves that you're talking about that you're hitting on, it's a form of catharsis as well,
Hmm.
especially
Yeah,
what I see with a
totally.
lot of like heavy metal as well, that they're heavy on the
Absolutely.
catharsis and shit, which is cool and alchemical in all those aspects of it, in like even some of this battle rap shit and like other, even like hardcore weird stuff like drill and other things that I'm not really acclimated on and not
Hmm.
really
Yeah.
to talk about, but there I see the therapeutic and cathartic sides of that, and it's like better to
Yeah.
see people just duke it out lyrically than with knives or guns or whatever the fuck.
Indeed, indeed. And there's also an energy and a synergy where when people know the words to a song and you're in a performance situation where everybody is singing the song, there's a power to that. Like, I just, and I've been in those situations time and time and time and time again. And, remembering a gig at one of the little theaters and having this sold out show, which was kind of amazing. And it's a little tiny thing. There might have been 250 people, 300 people, and they knew the fucking song. And I was just like, and it was my song. It was the coolest thing. And then to also, one of the things that I did, because I was pushy in the 80s. I sent a tape to the San Francisco Giants organization and I got picked. So I got to sing the national anthem for the Giants on a Friday night. There had to be 65,000 fucking people at Candlestick Park. And what's really interesting is that when you do that, like, I had been warned, there's a 3-second delay because of the vastness of the park, because it's outdoors, Um, and I was prepared. And I heard the horror story that the week previous, one of the people from Jefferson Starship, was there, forgot the words. So I just remember standing there going, oh shit, I forgot about this. And because I had worked so much with different groups, different situations, and knew how to, worked with monitors and all that kind of stuff, I fucking rocked it. It was like so awesome. Um, but to be standing there with that kind of a crowd, and I'm not very patriotic. I am, and then I'm not. Um, but I just remember just feeling the sort of heart opening thing. And it was a very similar thing in that little theater where everybody knew this particular song that I was singing that was mine. So just those moments about being in the pocket in a crowd, being in the pocket during a performance, being in the pocket during a dance performance. Um, I, as a percussionist, your mom was a belly dancer. I was a belly dancer. And I went to the Middle East and studied Middle Eastern rhythm. So learned all about 9/8 timing, Kash Lama, Dabki, the 4/4 timing, Ayub, uh, Masmoudi. So all these different things. And I just remember being with a bunch of these old men percussionists on various hand drums and getting that same feeling of being in the pocket. I can't even tell you. And that is that universal language of, you feel it in your heart and there's this expansion and you're like going, whoa. And no drug can give you that. Oh, well, maybe ecstasy can. Sorry.
Especially
Right.
while listening to that music, right?
Yeah, exactly. But that heart open, it's a heart opening, and it's also first chakra opening, which is why I like really, really deep, bassy bass lines. I'm totally into it. I'm totally into it. So, anyways,
That's
God, I just feel like I had sex in front of people all of a sudden. That's weird. Sorry. Oh my.
I love that
Anyways.
tangent you just went on. That's great. And honestly, that's the reason why the place I work at right now, it's like this pizzeria. I was telling you, it's like really intense. Like everyone's just like working like hardcore, just trying to get all the orders in and the food out as fast as possible. And it's that this guy like plays like some pretty hardcore techno shit. Sometimes it's like
Mhm.
100, at least
Yeah.
130 BPMs, like dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
no, I
And I'm like,
love techno.
yeah,
Love it.
it's cool. I'm down with that shit, especially yeah. Some of the songs they're pretty legit. There's good amount of like love songs and that kind of stuff, which can be hit or miss and this and that. Like I can dissect the lyrics a little too much, and I need to not do that. But for what it's worth, it's like yeah, all right, cool. It's not the negative or that kind of stuff, So it's easy to dance to and like sing along with and that kind of stuff. Cool, no worries, like.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, there's like this adrenaline rush and that kind of stuff. Sometimes that there's the whole spectrum of emotions that can come through all types of music, and
Mhm, yeah.
it's incredible to hear you talk about it because you've been there and done that ad infinitum. It seems, but I don't know how many gigs have you done? Like a couple thousand?
Yeah,
Like goddamn!
yeah,
Like
I yeah, probably, yeah, well over 1,000 for sure.
wow.
Probably a couple thousand, you know? There was a point in my life where I was gigging every single day for like a long time. And it takes a toll. It takes a toll on your body. Like, this left thumb is like that. And this is an improvement because last year it wouldn't even, and I would have to, and this joint was inflamed. Like I couldn't even look at it. I would look at it and she's, fuck you, don't look at me. She'd just be just this fucking pissed off, on fire. Like you could see the heat signature coming off her, you know.
Damn.
And I've had shoulder issues. This has been dislocated. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember like playing the guitar wasn't really cracking when I was
Yeah,
like,
no, I couldn't hold it. And and I've
gee,
got I've got two violins and like I can't do it. I can't hold the violin. It just won't let me. Won't let me. Hopefully, but with the hope, the help of three homeopathic remedies. Oh my God! I mean, it's like such an improvement because everybody you should have microsurgery, and it's like fuck no, 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 and no, respectively. It's not going to happen. I'm
ha,
not going to do it. You know, I'm into homeopathy. So Ruta graveolens,
ooh,
Arnica montana, um, cal calcarea, it's fluoride. What is it? Let me see if I don't think I have it here with me.
Hmm.
Or maybe I do. No. But anyways, so and it's the joint repair and also the ligament repair, micro repairs.
Hmm.
So this is just kind of the stuff that you have to do. And
Yeah.
luckily I get to do it because I know what to do. Um but this is, yeah, it's the stuff you got to do. You got to take care of your stuff. You got to take care of your body. And the repetitive motion, that is a thing for sure. Um I remember it's one of the reasons why I decided, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't play bass and guitar at the same time anymore because, I'm being small too, and things are
Mm.
very, very heavy. I played a very big guitar, a very heavy guitar, because I like the sound. I'm into Gretsch guitars, and, so sue me, kill me, whatever. It's just my preference, but it does. And I
Maybe your
used
body wants to see you for that. For that.
yeah, I would have to ice my shoulders and my hands sometimes because when you're doing 3 sets, I mean that could be a lot of songs in one night.
Wow.
And the calluses ripping and that kind of thing. I mean,
Oof.
I'm surprised I'm not deaf, to be perfectly honest. Because we were out last week and watched oh my god, you talk
Def
about
Leppard.
the old rockers, Def Leppard, oh yeah, and Brett Michaels from Poison. Oh shit, like what is up with these dudes looking like someone's great grand? I mean, it's just, I still love them, they still sound great, but holy moly, poor the Scotsman had like earplugs, and I was fine.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Oh man, oh lord, yeah.
Yeah, you're telling me about that, and yeah, I mean, I was really happy to hear you had a great time, and it kind of rekindled some enthusiasm and joy for music and stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
especially going through what you're going through. That brings up a good uh, question. Growing up, what were your right? Growing up, whatever, throughout the 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever, like what were some of your favorite groups of music, artists, or things that
Mhm.
you influenced you quite a bit?
Well, I was totally into Joni Mitchell. I was into Jimi Hendrix, completely into Jimi Hendrix. I was also into Miles Davis. So I liked all that stuff. And classically, Bach, Debussy, Mozart. I liked a lot of the Russian romantics. So I was all over it. I was just all over it. And in terms of rock music, I am a Heart fan. So you have to give those ladies credit, especially in the era of all the technology with the fucking auto tune. People just can't sing. They need their fucking technology. And I mean, those ladies just busted it out. And I was into a lot of Genesis. I was also into a lot of Sly and the Family Stone. I liked a lot of R&B. Was totally into it. Um yeah, so there we go. There we go. And it's still it, these people are just still in my heart. But I did enjoy a lot of the sort of 80s sort of big arena rock kind of thing, because you just gotta bust out. You gotta bust out and be able to rock out and not care what people think.
Yeah, that's what I appreciated that and just admired. It's like, wow, those folks, like, they don't give a fuck about what anyone thinks about them. They're just, rocking out with their cock out, as some people like to say, with all that crazy hair over there, and
Woo!
like
I know it was a thing. It was a thing.
oh shit, yeah,
Yeah.
those were the times. And
Mhm.
over the times, I mean, you've produced a lot of music, it seems, and unfortunately, yeah, like s- things got lost in the shuffle or
Yeah. I have all the
purposefully.
notebooks though. I've got all the notebooks and they're in the cabinet behind the grand piano. All of my songwriting notebooks. I mean,
Oh
it's
wow,
kind of amazing. I'm just like, holy shit. Yeah.
you could go through another lifetime just to dig through the work you've done in your
Yeah.
lifetime. You're
And
like, yeah,
I've got a whole box of cassettes, a whole box of DATs, a whole box of
wow,
yeah. Uh, And it's like sometimes I look at it and I'm just like, maybe I should just fucking toss this shit right now because,
yo,
but there they are. They're in the box. And, so some of the stuff that I sent you, it's not the greatest quality. These are off of
yeah,
cassettes that
yeah,
are
yeah.
40 years old, 45 years old.
Wow.
So, it's cool. It is what it is. I have no regrets
Yeah,
at
so
all.
you're able to you have one of those converters from tape to MP3 or whatever.
No, I don't.
Oh shit! You just recorded that for me. Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
pretty much, pretty much. It's like, well,
Gotcha.
what do I got going on? So
Damn.
it's pretty funny. I was pretty entertained by it.
That was a
I'm
cool
like
song.
going, "Woo! Ouch." Yeah.
Those were great. I mean, there's uh, that one song you sent me that, that you produced, 3 years after my birthday, 1986.
Oh yeah. Future's children.
Yeah, and like for the kids, and that was like some real shit. It's like, wow, you were talking about that back then.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I was talking about it. And that was part of my one woman show that I would do if when I had a regular busking thing at Ghirardelli Square.
Oh, what?
And I would bring the kids. I would bring the kids, and I would give them money, and I'm like, so they would go with one of our other neighbors who was a teenager at the time. Would take the kids
Ha.
into the Ghirardelli chocolate thing while I was working. I mean, it was pretty
Wow.
funny. It was pretty funny.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I would just be just howling and some people were put off by it, like you seem like a crazy wild banshee, like what's happening.
Well,
But I was trying to convey that. I was trying to convey
yeah.
that, so it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, some people want to snob that. Yeah, there's like the stiff robots that I see.
Yes.
Kind of like,
Yeah, exactly. But there have been some funny things though with that. The whole screaming, because I can sound very, very pretty, and then I can sound like a psycho. I can sound insane, like a wild banshee. And needless to say, I'd been um, put into certain situations like little quiet cafes, and all of a sudden I'm like opening the song and full on screaming and literally seeing people's coffee cups go up in the air because I just fucking scared the shit out of them. It's just so hilarious. And so the MC or the people announcing me would go, you might want to put your coffee down for this. And so the people that knew what I was up to, they were prepared, but some of those people, oh my god, I felt bad. All of a sudden the coffee cups are up in the air. Woohoo!
wow.
Oh my god. So anyways, yeah.
You definitely know how to raise the roof, and
Absolutely. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. And you can't be afraid. I'm not a mouse. I may be small like one, but I'm not a mouse.
Yeah, and so it seems like the music industry. It's like they try to portray these artists as kind of what we were just talking about. Yet it's just like they're throwing a bunch of glitter on some talent that's been compromised
Hmm.
or something like that.
Well, I mean, it's definitely been compromised. Um, I have I have a couple of clients who are recovering from that kind of uh, industry abuse. I mean, that industry abuse is, I mean, it's permeated through the publishing companies, through Hollywood, the
Ah,
music industry, tech. I mean, there's not the one um, industry that hasn't been infiltrated by the demons. And these are the
yeah.
the matrix powers that want to be.
Yeah.
And, we've heard these stories certainly, and it's in every genre. The classical, when I was getting groomed, quote unquote, in violin, and also to compete with the piano. First of all, my piano skills are honed because I've let go of all of those systems. So when I was being sort of directed to move into piano competitions, I'm like going, oh, hell no. First of all, I'm not that good technically. I'm not. I'm not that good technically. I'm not going to sit there and upchuck and try to get into Tchaikovsky's mind or Chopin's mind. I don't have the range. I don't have the physicality to do it. And I had a friend who was actually a classical pianist and doing the competition thing, and I was frightened for her. I was really frightened. And you talk about somebody's hair falling out, all her hair fell out because she was so fucking stressed. It's like nobody needs to do that. No one needs to. I don't want to do that. I've had enough stress in my life. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to compete. I just want to play music. I want to play music the way I want to play music, the way I interpret it. And if nobody likes it, then go somewhere else. You
Ah,
know,
isn't
I
that
don't care
like?
whether you like my music or not. I don't care.
So I was gonna say, like, isn't that like the embodiment of music, like that freedom of expression,
Indeed.
which we're
Indeed.
trying to
I think
invoke with
so.
the SoundPath to freedom, right?
Yes.
What
Yeah.
does that even look like?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that it's so important, especially now where the reach of pop music, it's even more. So the level of conformity, the level of fuckery is even deeper now because of the interwebs and the internet and the sort of technology where AI can now fake a voice, fake music, fake. I mean, I know people who are writing music with AI, and I'm sorry, it's just so mechanically flat. There are the dynamics. It's orally, to me, it's dead. It's fucking dead, and I don't care. I don't care. I definitely have an opinion about it.
Yeah, likewise. But yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I'm trying to have some leeway for that, especially for those because I know some people that are producing music that is like geared towards like natural law and trying to teach
Hmm.
principles.
Yeah.
Yet
Yeah. Right on.
when I hear it, I don't know. It's like it's lacking some of that soul or something.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. AI isn't not going to have soul, which is why for me, I have digital pianos, but there ain't nothing like a grand piano where you can
Mm.
sit there and you can hit it and you can stop it by touching it. I like that. I like to
Yeah.
interact with my instruments. And do I love my Roland piano and my Yamaha? Yeah, fuck yeah, I do. But I don't prefer it. I don't prefer it. You know, they can mechanize it so that it appears to be touch sensitive, but obviously it's not. It's not.
Yeah, it's not the real McCoy,
No, it isn't. No, it is not.
but it's a beautiful toy.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It really, really is. So yeah.
Yeah. Well,
What
Mark.
time is it over at your house? We should
It's a
wrap we
quarter
should
to
wrap this.
three.
Yeah, we should wrap
Quarter
this
to eight.
up. I actually have a thing coming up. Holy moly.
Yeah. Holy shit. Holy smokes. So yeah, Maria. Anything you'd like to share or declare for this upcoming SoundPath to Freedom that you're
Yeah,
featured in, or just in general? You know.
I want to thank everybody who is a part of this. You know, I honor everyone's creativity, everyone's voice, everyone's contribution. Thank you, Jerry, for really birthing this. I really appreciate you, and blessings and appreciation to everyone, every one of the artists, the musicians, the producers, the co-producers, to you, Derek. I mean, you know, you're wearing a lot of different hats, and I love you and appreciate you, and thank you for doing this. And yeah, I look forward to yeah to the video of "Push Me Further Into Snow." The consequences of whistleblowing and not whistleblowing, of truth and not truth.
Yeah, definitely, Mara. Your lyrics are quite profound. Please check out her channel, Love, Truth, and Beauty, and scroll around, see what you can find. Everything is pretty profound, regardless. But yeah, she also provides many a service, so don't feel nervous. She's got her website, marjawes.com. It'll pop up as Love, Truth, and Beauty, at least on my end. But
Mhm.
yeah. Always a pleasure, Maya. I don't know what else to say. It's just like
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
good old,
Appreciate you, Derek.
yeah. Likewise, Maya. Much love.
Love you.
Yeah, I love you too, and we will see you soon. Please stay tuned, and
Bye, darlings.
yeah, ciao for now.
A stranger is an enemy, but ask permission, enter the tent, and he will be unharmed. The mutual hospitality within the tent offers a chance to solve the conflict peacefully. It is an act of guaranteed immunity. If the conflict remains, once outside, he may die.